The black SUV pulled up to the rundown diner like a shark circling wounded prey. Isabella's hands froze mid-wipe on the greasy counter. She knew that car. She knew the man who would step out of it. 5 years. 5 years of hiding, of working double shifts, of praying this moment would never come. But there he was, Dante Romano, stepping onto the cracked pavement in a suit that cost more than her annual rent. Their eyes met through the smudged window. His jaw clenched. Her world tilted. And in the back room, behind the storage shelves where she'd set up a makeshift playpen, her son, their son, was napping. The son Dante didn't know existed. The son she'd left with the night he ordered her out of his life forever. This is a story that will grip you from beginning to end. If you want to know how everything started and where this is going, subscribe to the channel and leave in the comments where you're watching from. Every view counts. Isabella had learned to recognize danger. It was a skill born from necessity, honed over 3 years of working in Dante Romano's mansion as a housekeeper. She'd learned which rooms to avoid when voices rose behind closed doors, which men never made eye contact, which silences meant someone wasn't coming back. But she'd never learned to recognize the danger in falling for him. It started small. The way he'd thanked her in Italian when she brought his coffee exactly how he liked it, black, scalding hot, in the specific porcelain cup his mother had given him. The way his eyes softened when he found her reading in the library during her break, a worn copy of Dante's Inferno in her hands. "You read Italian?" he'd asked, surprise breaking through his usual controlled expression. "My grandmother taught me," she'd answered, setting the book down with shaking hands. Before she passed, something shifted in his face. Something human beneath the armor. That was the beginning. 6 months later, she stood in his private study, her cleaning supplies forgotten on the cart outside. His hands cupped her face like she was something precious, something breakable. His lips moved against hers with a hunger that terrified and thrilled her in equal measure. "This is insane," she whispered against his mouth. "I know," he breathed back. "I don't care whether you want it or not. I don't need anything from you." "Then you're stupider than I remember." From the back room, clear as a bell, a small voice called out, "Mama? Are you done working? I'm hungry." Dante froze. His eyes went wide, then narrow, tracking the sound like a predator. "Who?" "No one," Isabella said quickly. Too quickly. But it was too late. Luca emerged from the back room, his dark hair sticking up in every direction, his little hands rubbing sleep from his eyes. Eyes that were identical to the man standing across the counter. The silence that followed could have choked empires. Dante stared at the boy. The boy stared back. And Isabella felt the ground open up beneath her feet. "Mama," Luca said, tilting his head. "Why is that man looking at me like that?" Dante's voice, when it came, was barely human. "How old is he?" Isabella couldn't breathe, couldn't think. "Dante." "How old is he?" "4," she whispered. "He's 4." The math was simple, devastating, undeniable. Dante's hands were shaking. She'd never seen his hands shake. "You were pregnant when I sent you away. You were carrying my son and you didn't tell me. You ordered me to leave. My son." The coffee cups on the counter rattled. "You kept my son from me for 4 years? You didn't want me. You made it clear. I would have burned down the world for him." Dante's voice cracked. "For both of you. I would have—" He stopped, pressed his palms against the counter like he needed it to hold him up. Cristo! 4 years. 4 years of his life. Luca, picking up on the tension, moved closer to Isabella. "Mama? Is the man bad?" "No, baby," she said, her voice breaking. "He's not bad. He's just surprised. Surprised, Dante repeated and laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. That's one word for it. He looked at Luca again, really looked at him, and Isabella saw something crack open. Neither of us was right. Silence stretched between them, heavy with everything unsaid. Finally, Dante spoke. You need to come back. What? To New York. To my home. Both of you. His arms tightened around Luca. It's not a request. My enemies are circling. They know about you now. And when they find out about him, his voice went cold. I won't let anything happen to either of you. Not again. Dante, we can't just. You can. You will. He stood, still holding Luca, who was fully asleep now. I'm not the same man who sent you away 5 years ago. I'm richer, more powerful, more dangerous. And now I have something to protect that's worth more than empires. He looked down at his son. Him. You. My family. We're not your family. You're the mother of my child. That makes you family. It makes you mine. His eyes locked on hers. It always did. Isabella's heart stuttered. Dante! The door burst open. One of Dante's men, she remembered him, Carlo, looked panicked. Boss, we have a problem. 5 cars just pulled up. Valentino family. They're armed. Dante's expression went flat and deadly. He handed Luca back to Isabella with a gentleness that contradicted the murder in his eyes. How did they find us? Someone must have followed you from the city. Idiots. Dante pulled a gun from inside his jacket. How many men? At least 15. Maybe more. Isabella clutched Luca tighter. Dante, what's happening? Exactly what I warned you about. He moved toward the door. Stay here. Lock the door behind me. Luca, in a tiny suit that Dante had somehow procured, holding the rings on a velvet pillow and taking his job with adorable seriousness. Isabella wore a simple white dress that Dante's assistant had delivered, along with shoes that actually fit and a diamond necklace that probably cost more than the diner. You didn't have to do all this, Isabella said, adjusting the necklace. Yes, I did. Dante appeared behind her in the mirror, devastating in a black tuxedo. You deserved a real wedding 5 years ago. This is the best I can do on short notice. It's perfect. You're perfect. He kissed her neck. And in about 10 minutes, you're going to be my wife. Legally, anyway. In every way that matters. He turned her to face him. I know this isn't a love story. I know I'm asking you to tie yourself to a dangerous man for protection more than romance. But I swear to you, Isabella, I will spend the rest of my life earning your love again, however long it takes. Dante. Papa. Luca crashed into the room, the pillow forgotten. The man says it's time. Are you getting married now? We are, Piccolo. Dante scooped him up. You ready to be my best man? Yes. Luca threw his arms around Dante's neck. And then we all live together? Forever, Dante promised. The 3 of us. Always. The ceremony was short. Traditional. The words felt heavy